Welcome back. So in this video, we're going to keep moving with our cookie clicker tutorial, and we're going to implement a points per click kind of system. So that way I'm not just earning 1 point every time I click, that it can actually start to increase as I keep going on and on and on. So I now have introduced a new thing about my program that's going to change. So instead of only earning 1 point, how many points I'm going to earn every time I click is going to change. So I need another variable. I'm going to say let PPC, which stands for points per click. And it might not be a bad idea to actually spell this out, but I'm going to keep it the same way here. Right, and to start with, it's going to be 1. So every time I click, then I'm going to earn 1 point. So to use that then, I go to the place where I'm earning my score. Instead of just saying score plus plus, which is earning 1, it's increasing it by 1 every time. I'm going to say score plus equals PPC, which is the same thing as saying score equals score plus PPC. PPC is 1 right now, so it's the same thing in this moment as saying score equals score plus 1, or score plus equals 1, or also score plus plus, right? I haven't actually changed the way the score is going yet, but it's at least possible that I could earn a different amount of points as I keep going. So I'm gonna run it just to make sure things are still working the way I want them to. Yep. So how can I change this PPC then? Well, it's going to depend on what kind of score I have. So I'm going to use an if statement because sometimes it's going to do something and sometimes it won't. But I think about the moment that's going to happen. So what beginners usually think when they're making video games is that you need an if statement for something like if user clicked. That's not exactly how this is going to work here. We've already figured that out. With the function mouse clicked, anything that happens inside this function, that's going to happen when the user has clicked. So I don't need an if user clicked kind of a statement. But I'm not necessarily going to just increase it every single time. We could just see what that looks like though. So if you do score plus equals PPC, and then still inside this if statement here, then we are going to add where PPC increases itself. Right, so that is where it used to be 1, then it'll be 2, then it'll be 3. Right, so let's just kind of watch to see what it does. Right, so now every time I click, but my points per click is increasing. As we keep clicking, it gets to be pretty big. So something we could do here is to set the PPC to be something different. All right, so if I wanted to give it a little more control. So I'm going to say if score is greater than 25, then that's when I'm going to say PPC equals 2. And then I can start to build out some other possibilities here. Else if score is greater than 100, and PPC equals 5. And I'll just do one more, but you could keep going and you could keep going. And if the score is greater than 500, then we could set the PPC equal to 10. And so this just a little finer control instead of it getting completely out of control at some point. All right, so it still has me clicking a lot, which is the whole idea with the cookie clicker, is that the user's having to do a lot of clicking. But you might notice that I already passed scores greater than 25, so my score is increasing by 2 every time. Once I get to 100, then once I got greater than 100, now my score is increasing by 5. And once I got to 500, then it would increase by 10 then. Right, so you can play around with these numbers. Another thing you can play with is instead of just saying score is greater than 25, you could say score is greater than or equal to 25. Score is greater than or equal to 100. Score is greater than or equal to 500. So there's lots of different things you can play with here.